I am going in a completely different direction, probably one that you didn't anticipate tonight, but I'm just curious. Urban Meyer grew up in Ohio, graduate assistant at Ohio State University. His mentor and idol was Earl Bruce. He has always stated that's the job for him. But there have been comments throughout his career, and we'll probably never find out at this point now that he's heading off to the NFL, although that is typically a graveyard for coaches, 3 years and out after that next 5-11, you're gone, and he may come back to the college game. But did you ever think that because – again, there have been traces of Urban Meyer alluding to Notre Dame being one of the very few jobs that he would ever accept. And I think that was prior to the Ohio State job. Did you ever have any thoughts or desires of having Urban Meyer lead the Irish?
If it was ever going to happen, it would have been back in 2005 when he left Utah for Florida. That's when it would have happened. I think once he made that move to Florida, at that point in time, taking the Notre Dame job would have always been a step back. So I think the timing was never right for Notre Dame and Urban Meyer when they needed a coach in 2002. He wasn't necessarily, he was an assistant coach. He had been at Notre Dame. He was part of a staff that got let go under Bob Davie. So I don't think that, it's just like with anything. The timing never worked out. When Notre Dame needed a coach in 2002, he didn't have the resume. He wasn't ready to do that. He'd just gotten the Bowling Green job. And then, of course, when that job came open in 2004, Notre Dame wasn't in a place where it was an attractive job. Not only had Tyrone Willingham just recruited, I think, the worst recruiting class in Notre Dame history, the program was not in great shape. And we saw that after the 2 years of Charlie Weiss when the roster was decimated in 2007. Urban Meyer knew that. And the facilities at Notre Dame were so far behind every other program. The pay for assistants, Notre Dame wasn't a serious place at the time. And he made the right. I mean, if you can take the Notre Dame hat off for a second, the fan hat off for a second, no coach in their right mind would have taken the Notre Dame job in 2005 over the Florida job. I mean, no, because the one thing Ron Zook could do is recruit. And Urban knew he was stepping into a pretty loaded situation. It would have had to be like he just would have had to put all common sense aside to have taken that job. And since then, the timing just hasn't worked out. He was still at Florida when Brian Kelly got the job at Notre Dame. And, when he became available in 2011, at Ohio State, or 2012, Brian Kelly was just getting rolling. So it wasn't going to happen then. So I just think the timing has never worked. And other coaches said that. Nick Saban's made comments about that. He's a Catholic. He's talked about the attractiveness, but he's never going to leave Alabama. I've actually had Notre Dame fans say, well, I think they could convince Nick Saban to, come win at Notre Dame to really build his legacy. I'm like, the guy's got like 8 national championships. Like, what does he have to prove at Notre Dame? Are you kidding me? But that's just kind of that's what I love about Notre Dame fans. There's the John Gruden kick for a long time. Then it's Urban Meyer's going to leave Ohio State for Notre Dame. And then it was, well, maybe we can get Nick Saban. It's been fun. Whenever there's a hint of a coaching change, it's always fun because you get all these people that think Mike Shanahan was a rumor one time amongst Notre Dame fans back when they were looking for a coach. It gets entertaining when Notre Dame's looking for a head coach. That's for sure.
Well, I think that that is certainly common among fan bases when they've got a coaching vacancy to be thinking well beyond I'm not saying Notre Dame because Notre Dame's at or near the top of college football, but you'll have head coaching vacancies at places like Tennessee, South Carolina, and they think they pretty much can go anywhere and get anyone. And it's like, hang on, remember who you are. And Brian, I got to say that's in addition to the insight and the information and the knowledge base, something I appreciate just from the two conversations is certainly having great pride in the Notre Dame football tradition and everything that it is currently, and being very upfront about where you think it's unique, special, all those things, but certainly standing here and saying, hey, yeah, we're not good enough here, or I got to argue with our fan base because I got to bring them back down to reality and say we're not this or we're not that, not just with the Irish colored glasses of green and gold saying everything, we should rule the world kind of deal. So.
I'd like them to do that because that would make my job a lot easier and would certainly help my subscription base. That is for sure.